live on our YouTube channel. The question that we're asking today is, are the fresh revelations in the Rafale saga a setback to the Narendra Modi government? Yes, that's a question that we're answering. The facts of the matter so far is that there was a report that came out in the Hindu newspaper today, which came out with documents from the Defense Ministry in terms with relation to the Rafale deal, which documented that the MOD officials had objections to the fact that the PMO was apparently involved in the negotiations. Now, I'd like to read out the particular notings that has been put out by the Hindu, and remember that these file notings was initiated by a deputy secretary, Air 2, and then this was followed by a remark of the then Defense Secretary G. Mohan Kumar. This file noting was sent right up to the Defense Minister, then Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar, and the file noting says, RM may please see it. It is desirable that such discussions be avoided by the PMO. And he sought, he has made it very clear that such negotiations should be avoided by the PMO. Now, what the story has done is that it has set the set a new political slugfest between the opposition and the BJP. The Congress President Rahul Gandhi was quick enough to latch on this report and addressed a press conference early at about 10:30 in the morning at the AICC headquarters, in which he lashed out at the Prime Minister's office and at the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, accusing him of interfering in the Rafale deal and causing benefit to the Reliance Defense. Now, if you the defense ministry, the defense minister Raksha Mantri Nirmala Sitharaman actually spoke out in the parliament and accused the newspaper as well as the opposition of playing with facts. She said that if the newspaper had really come out with this report, they should have put out the entire file notings. Now, the file notings are very interesting because Manohar Parrikar, below the remarks of the secretary, has gone ahead and has said that this is an overreaction and this could be easily be resolved. Now, yes, so those are the facts of the case, and I've received this question from Rahul, who's asking whether what happens now is the Narendra Modi government in the dock. No, Rahul, I don't think so that the Narendra Modi government is in the dock. What can be ascertained from this flow of letters is that yes, the PMO was indeed involved in the negotiations. At least this is what the file notings by G. Mohan Kumar says. But remember that G. Mohan Kumar has already clarified that the file notings were not in relation to the price of the particular deal, but that with regard to the sovereign guarantee. Yes, the PMO is in a back position, but the fact that the negotiation was being carried by not by the Defense Ministry but by the Indian Air Force goes on to say, and the prince spoke to the man heading the negotiation committee of the Indian Negotiating Committee, Air Marshal SBP Sinha, was then the deputy chief, and he has made it absolutely clear that no one from the ministry had spoken to him then or till now about any such letter being issued or about any objections or of PMO's interference in the negotiations. Now, he told me that it was today in the morning when he read the newspaper that he came to know about the existence of such a letter. Now, another question that I've received from Shiv is that if this letter that has come out, does it really absolve the Defense Ministry? Well, I suppose you're asking about the complete file notings that have been issued by the Defense Ministry, which points out to the fact that Manohar Parrikar has called it an overreaction. So whenever a negotiation happens, it is impossible to believe that whenever such high-profile negotiations happen, be it the Indo-US civil nuclear deal, that was signed during the UPA government, or this particular Rafale deal, one would be one would be really fooled to think that the PMO will not have any involvement in such a deal. It is the PMO would weigh in on such deals, because you cannot expect the MEA or the Defense Ministry to negotiate solely on such mega projects that affects the relationship of two countries and the future of our country itself. So yes, during all such negotiations, the PMO do weigh in, and they come out with their own recommendations, they come out with their own thinking, and this is something that the ministry, it's part of the decision making process within the government itself. So one cannot really say that one cannot really say that the interference of the PMO is really wrong. Now, another question that has come is, Meena, will this affect the 2019 elections? Of course, the Rafale, the whole Rafale story is not related to the facts. It's all about a perception battle that is being fought. The Congress believes, the opposition believes that it has got the silver bullet that can fire at the government, that can bring down the government. So at this particular time, it's a muddied water out there ahead of the elections. The Rafale saga will continue. There would be fresh allegations that would come out. It's no longer about facts. Nobody wants to know or study the facts of this particular deal. But yes, it's an election. I'm not sure whether it will affect the 2019 elections, but yes, it will play a very crucial role in the 2019 elections. Raman says, what should be the opposition plan now? Well, as I said, the opposition believes that it's got the silver bullet and is going to continue firing at the government because they believe that this is something that will stick onto the government. They believe that the government is on the back foot. But one would have to really see, as I said, this is not about facts or figures. This is all a perception battle now that has been fought between the government and the opposition. Anand Raj says the former defense secretary has henceforth backtracked and is now saying he can't remember the context. It was not about pricing. Seems he is now under severe intimidation or pressure. True. Well, yes, the former defense secretary G. Mohan Kumar has gone ahead and has said that this particular file noting is not related to the pricing of the aircraft itself, but this is related to the sovereign guarantee. Remember, we, as I mentioned earlier, I had spoken to the former Deputy Chief of the Indian Air Force, Air Marshal SBP Sinha, who headed this particular negotiation team. And after a very long time, it was the Air Force which was heading the negotiations and not the MOD. And he's made it very clear that during the entire course of the particular negotiation, nobody from the MOD ever raised this particular issue. Now, what we've been told by our sources is that this particular file noting was indeed related to the sovereign guarantee. Now, what is a sovereign guarantee? Or let's say, whenever a particular deal is signed with a foreign vendor, we go ahead and take a bank guarantee. Now, sources in the MOD as well as in the government explain it to us that in this particular case, the vendor concerned was the government itself, was the French government, and they did not want to bring down the French government to the level of a vendor. Now, you have the foreign military sales route, that is with the US, under which we purchase equipment in a G2G deal, or in any of the G2G deal with Russia that we have inked in the past. There is no bank guarantee that is taken. And yes, the bank guarantee was one of the issues that was stalling the entire negotiations. And it was, SBP Sinha received a letter from his French counterpart who was heading the negotiations for the French, informing him that the French President's office and the PMO were on discussion on this bank guarantee, and they're trying to work out a comfort letter. Now, it is at this point is when SBP Sinha first came to know that talks for a comfort letter is on. He wrote to the PMO, he wrote to the Joint Secretary in the PMO, Mr. Ashraf, seeking to know whether there were talks that were being held between the PMO and the French president with regard to the comfort letter. So yes, G. Mohan Kumar has also clarified that this particular file noting is with regard to the sovereign guarantee or the bank guarantee and not with the pricing of this particular deal. Nishai Watt says, if Supreme Court has given a clean sheet to BJP and notings are still ambiguous as per the Defence Ministry, then how will Congress get political mileage out of it? Now, I would not really say whether the Supreme Court has given an absolutely clean sheet to the government. What the Supreme Court has really done is that, they have mentioned that the probe into this is outside the purview of the Supreme Court. So, what will the Congress gain out of it? Well, it's a, as I said earlier, the Congress believes that they've got the silver bullet through which they can bring down the government. This is an election season, and this is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to push ahead with this Rafale story. They're going to push ahead because they feel that the government is on the back foot. Yes, the government has not been, able to come out with facts and put it on the floor. Despite its best efforts, it has never found the audience, because remember that this is a perception battle. Here the perception that has been created is that Rafale is a scam and that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi benefited out of it. The Congress accuses it of crony capitalism by bringing in the fact that the offset partner in the Rafale deal is Reliance. The Congress alleges that Reliance got 30,000 crore worth of offset deal, whereas the fact of the matter is that Reliance Defense is one of the 70 companies that the French companies are working with as part of the offsets for this deal. And as of now, Reliance has got a small share of the overall offset deal that is being inked with other countries. Remember that the French, the offsets are also not done by the Dassault Aviation itself. Dassault Aviation is also one of the companies that are involved in the Rafale deal. The offset obligation, there are offset obligations for Dassault Aviation. They are the makers of the frame makers of the aircraft. With MBDA, MBDA is the one which is providing us with the weapons for the Rafale aircraft. Then you have the Safran. Safran is the engine maker, and above all, you have Thales, which is doing the software for the particular aircraft. So these companies are in talks and have already tied up with number of other companies as part of the offset deal. Another question that has been asked by Tyler is, will the government decide to go for 36 more Rafales as the IAF demands? Well, the IAF has not yet really gone ahead and put a formal request for 36 Rafale fighter jets. But yes, this is a thinking that that has been there in the government and within the IAF. Remember that the IAF has come out with an RFI for 114 fighter jets, for which 7 companies, for which 7 fighter planes are in the fray, including the Rafale fighter jets. Initially, when this particular deal was inked for 36 Rafale fighter jets, it was believed that the government could go ahead and order in for more aircraft. But because of this this entire political scandal, I don't think so that the government will actually go in for 36 more Rafale jets. They would actually go in for the RFP, that is a request for proposal, that would be issued probably later this year for the 114 fighter jets, for which Rafale is also in the fray. Now, another question that is being asked by Sandeep is, what is the problem in setting up JPC and address this issue? Well, that is something which the government needs to answer. As far as I see, there is no problem in setting up a JPC, but the government, for that matter, doesn't want to set up a JPC because they feel they are of the opinion that JPC would involve a deeper scrutiny, would involve more of a political mudslinging, and they would be seen on the back foot. And that is the case why they are continuing with this, why they have not gone in for a JPC. Thank you for logging in, watching this YouTube live. Please log in tomorrow at the same time to watch